We are having a quite exciting day in front of us. We're actually going to have about five and a half hours of seminars here, so get ready for some interesting topics. And before we start with the first one, I just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview of what you can expect from today. First, we're going to talk about the IP, which is a very interesting topic. Many of us think that it's a very boring topic, but I think IP is very, very important in terms of the future of our industry and see what we can expect on this front. Joachim is going to present. It's going to be the first one. After that, we will have David Connett. He's going to give us some insights from the remanufacturing industry, his view, the leading stories of the Recycler magazine, the size of the industry, the possibilities. So that is going to be a quite exciting part as well. Then we'll have Paul Needham from Static Control, talking about trusting a supplier, how safe is your supplier, what are the aspects that you should take into account when you're deciding in terms of who you work with. After that, we'll have Javier Martinez from Turbo Products, squeezing resources, MPS, different business models, moving from product sales to service sales. Then we are moving on to Peter Mayhew, who's going to talk about application on MFPs, which is, for me, it's quite new. I'm very much looking forward to this presentation as we are living the age of applications, and it's not only on our smartphones. Now the applications are onto our printing devices, and might be interesting opportunities for our industry to leverage that trend. Then around 4 o'clock, David will come back with a brand report, looking at the biggest brands of our industry, ranking them, looking at OEMs, see which OEMs are here, which are not going to be here, and probably drawing conclusions. And then coming down at around 4:45, we will finalize the seminar series, taking some conclusions and giving you a quick report of how we saw the show, what are the topics on the show floor, giving you a little bit of a summary. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Joachim Kretschmer, who is going to give us some insights of the IP and all these aspects that are probably going to affect our way of doing business in the next 2-3 years. So, over to you, Joachim. Enjoy, and collect some notes out, some questions, which you can shoot at the end of the presentation.
Thank you for your introduction. In my talk, I'll show you that IP is a key aspect of our industry. For that purpose, I'll talk about the following topics. I'll give you a short introduction in IP. I show you which areas of the patent right are especially important for our industry. Then we will discuss about the recent patent litigation cases. And finally, I'll show you what Print-Rite does to be able to offer safe products to the customers. Let's start with the introduction in IP. What are the requirements to have a granted patent? There are many, but one of the most important requirements is mentioned in Article 54 of the Patent Convention. It's the novelty. Another is that a patent has to be an invention, and also the difference between an invention and skillful work of an expert is defined. Article 57 claims that the invention can be made or used, and according to Article 83, the invention has to be fully disclosed within the patent. If you like to do an opposition against the patent, these are the main arguments for an attack. The invention is not new, it is no invention, and the disclosure is not complete or unclear. Now some words about the difference between patents and utility models. The main difference is the protection period. For utility models it's 10 years, for patents 20 years. But why is this difference? It is the result of the examination process for both IP rights. For a patent, a substantial examination process has to be passed. This could take years, and many discussions with the examiner might be necessary. During this examination process, the patent application becomes more and more specific and is boiled down to the real invention. For utility model, only a formal verification is necessary. Nobody checks whether it's a real invention. This is postponed to a nullification procedure when the utility model is challenged later. So you can get a utility model within some weeks. The consequence is that a utility model is granted for more or less everything that you apply for. Therefore, it's a very good weapon to adjust the utility model according to the product of a potential infringer. A protection time of 10 or 20 years is much too long for our fast-moving industry. Luckily, our industry is so innovative and always can find alternative solutions. Some words about the timing and some deadlines in the patent process. If one applies for a patent, he has another 12 months of time to launch additional patent applications in other countries based on the same priority date. Latest 18 months after application date, the patent application is published. The consequence is that only the inventor and the patent office knows about the patent. So if the OEM develops a new cartridge type, normally the patents are applied a short period before the launch of the product. After product launch, it would not be possible any longer because then the product itself is state-of-the-art and the patent would not be new. So with the product launch, the hidden phase starts and lasts in maximum for 18 months. During this time, you have to develop an aftermarket product without knowing even the patent application drafted for this product. As soon as the patent is granted, after several years, the opposition period of 9 months starts. And we mentioned already that the examination process needs a lot of time. During this phase, the OEM still has the opportunity to make divisional applications, which highlight more specific topics of the invention. During the opposition period, everybody who has material which proves that the patent should not be valid can make an opposition. During this time, the EP patent is still in the European phase. After that time, the patent splits in national rights, which means that if you like to delete such an IP right, you have to do it in each country independently. Another possibility is to make third-party observations. During the examination period, third parties can deliver material that has to be taken into account by the examiner. So if you think the examiner has not found the most important state-of-the-art, or you have other arguments for invalidity, deliver the material during the examination phase. This is the cheapest way to get influence. How can you make a third-party observation? It's very simple. Go to the European Patent Register, search for the patent application, click on Submit Observations, and fill out the template. And you can even make anonymous inputs. So if you find disturbing patent applications, involve yourself into the examination process by third-party observations. If all companies of our industry would use this opportunity, many patents of the OEMs would not exist, or at least would not have such a wide protection area. It is also important to understand the protection range of a patent. mentioned already that it is defined in the claims. If you do not understand the claims, have a look on the pictures. If you still not fully understand, read the description of the patent. For example, if a patent 1 has a claim for a cartridge which includes 4 features, let's call them A, B, C, D. If you have a cartridge, you can compare directly to these features. Does the cartridge have the same features? For example, feature A, a housing, feature B, an ink exit, feature C, 3 signal blocking portions, and feature D, that the signal of one of these signal blocking portions is detected during installation and removal of the cartridge from the printer. The cartridge infringes patent 1. Another cartridge that has only 3 of 4 claimed features, for example the end detection is missing, it does not infringe the patent 1 since one feature is not fulfilled. Now another company has the idea to implement a chip into the cartridge. This is a new and inventive idea because no skilled person in the art has even thought about the use of a chip in a cartridge, and it offers surprisingly new advantages. Now this company can apply for a new patent, let's call it 2, which includes all features of the first patent plus this chip. A product having now all 5 features would not only infringe patent 2, but also patent 1. So lesson learned, a new inventive feature added to a patent claim offers the opportunity to get a new patent for all the old stuff already known before. And very often in our industry it is mentioned we have own patents and our products are therefore do not infringe the OEM patent. But this is nonsense. An own patent does not protect infringing another more general patent. As last topic of the introduction, let's have a look on the patent jurisdiction in Germany especially. So jurisdiction is a two-way system. One way is the infringement instances and the other for the deletion of a patent or utility model. So the infringement process has 2 instances and if allowed a third at the Federal Court of Justice. The cancellation process for patents or utility models also have 2 instances. The problem with this system is that the judge deciding about the infringement has no clue whether the patent is valid or not. He has to take every granted patent or utility model as a legal right. Furthermore, the judge is not a technical expert, but a lawyer. The next problem is that the timing of the 2 ways is different. So if you are attacked by an OEM for infringement, you start immediately with the cancellation process of the IPR because without right, no infringement. Problem is that the OEM gets the final second instance decision that you are infringing within 2 to 5 years, but you get the final decision about the validity of the patent after 4 to 8 years. So this means it could happen that the second instance decides that your product is infringing an OEM patent, which is some years later declared as invalid. Bad luck. Therefore, use the opportunity of opposition within the 9 months period. An OEM will be very careful to use a patent involved in an opposition case to attack someone's product. But now let's use this knowledge about patents for our industry. Patents are important in all areas. This can be easily seen in the quantities of granted patents. It is steadily increasing over time. Furthermore, today IP is important in most of the countries. Here you can see the major patent countries and the development over time. Even for China, the number of patent rights is strongly increasing. Especially in our industry, patents are very important. It doesn't matter whether you produce and sell in North America, in Europe or in China, patents are essential for inkjet and toner products. All OEMs in the inkjet market have many patents in different countries of the world. The same is true for lace market. So you have to deal with patents independent of your business model, independent of your sales channels. You cannot hide. Also, it's no excuse to sell remade products only. Let me show you why. It is true there are patents that are only relevant for new build and not for remade products. But many patents are important for both categories. Think about the chip patents. Very often a remade product needs a replacement of the chip. So chip patents are important for new build and remade products. The same is true for chemical patents. For the ink or toner powder, furthermore, during the remade process you might replace worn out parts. So are you sure that these parts do not infringe any patent? Be aware, there are patents for all details of a cartridge. Additionally, there are topics which are especially important for remade products only. For example, the patents for the remade processes. OEM makes these patents only for one purpose. You can imagine. Also, the patent exhaustion is a very important topic for remade products, and therefore I'd like to discuss this topic in more detail. So patents are essential for new build and remanufactured cartridges. What is patent exhaustion? Wikipedia defines the exhaustion doctrine: once an unrestricted authorized sale of a patent article occurs, the patent holder's exclusive rights are exhausted and the purchaser is free to use or resell that article without restraints from patent law. Without the exhaustion, we would all infringe the patents of everything we use in daily life. But be careful, it is a regional right, which means for products first sold in exotic foreign countries, like Switzerland, no patent exhaustion took place in regard to Germany. Luckily, in this environment, the European Economic Area is seen as one country. So in general words, the proprietor of a patent has the exclusive right to make, use, sell, offer for sale, import, or even possess for these purposes the patent product, the patented process, and the products obtained from a patented process. As we learned, the protection is defined by the claims. So if exhaustion took place, this is limited to an individual product. So if a consumer buys an OEM product which has been placed on the market by or with the consent of an OEM, the patents of these individual products are exhausted. But the patents for the product type are not exhausted at all. Therefore, it's not permitted to make or reconstruct such a product. This is the exclusive right of the patent owner. Permitted is only the use of this particular product. This includes reselling and repairing. And therefore, the question is, what is the definition of repair? Where is the border between repair and reconstruction? But before we answer this important but complicated question, let's discuss what happens if no exhaustion took place and you sell remade products. The whole industry relies on patent exhaustion because the consequence is, if patent exhaustion cannot be proved, is that the remanufactured product is legally seen as a new build product, and since all OEM patents are still in force, it infringes all relevant patents. So if you are selling remade products, the patent exhaustion has a very high priority. Before we mentioned that the exhaustion is a regional right. As a consequence, patent exhaustion does not take place if empties are imported from abroad. And be careful, you might not see the difference of these products from different regions of the world, but be sure the OEM knows where the empties come from. Furthermore, you as a remanufacturer must prove the exhaustion if the OEM finds a way to create doubts about the origin of the empty. Therefore, use only empties from EU countries for products sold in the EU. An own collection system helps because then you can prove that you collected the individual cartridge, and it's very likely that a cartridge collected in a retail shop in Germany was first sold in Germany. If you buy empties from brokers, it is more difficult to prove exhaustion. So search for a reliable production partner. That this is not only theory can be seen from the new cases in Italy and Spain, in which exactly this topic is the basis of the attack. It is the same story as in Germany with the German cases of last year. Now we come back to the question, what is repair? Where is the border between repair and reconstruction? Repair includes the right to preserve the useful product life by replacing individual parts, but these parts may not infringe patents. Repair must be distinguished from reconstruction, which is the exclusive right of the patent owner. Reconstruction is the creation of a new article or the production of a second entity. The repair process must not alter the identity of the product. So it is repair to replace worn parts, but it is reconstruction if the effects of the invention are directly connected to the replaced parts. Furthermore, it's not repair if parts from different products are used to make one repair product. And it's also no repair if a product is modified. So if you go to the repair shop with your A-class Mercedes and you get back a C-class Mercedes, you're lucky, but you have a problem. The Federal Court of Justice in Germany defined a two-step process to distinguish between permissible repair and impermissible reconstruction. You have to answer two questions. The first question asks for the average consumer expectation and whether the identity of the worn product is lost. If this question is answered with no, it is reconstruction. If the question is answered with yes, you can go forward to the second question. And the second question is, are the technical effects of the invention reflected in the replaced parts? If this question is answered with yes, it is reconstruction. If this question is answered with no, it is permissible repair. Now let's come to some recent IP cases. I do not like to discuss long listings of the different cases. You all know the press releases, and it's obvious. There are lots of lawsuits, and IP is a key aspect of our industry. But let's select some of the most important topics in more detail. The OEMs know for the aftermarket consumable industry it is very important to have access to the interfaces between the printer and the consumable. For example, there is the driving force coupling. It is one of the major interfaces of our products. If the aftermarket is not able to use this coupling, there are no alternative products which are acceptable to the customers. So since a long time, Canon is aware of this fact. It started already more than 20 years ago to publish patents regarding this interface. One version was a twisted gear, which was used in many lawsuits. Fortunately, most of these patents have expired. But here is no all clear. Canon was not idle. A newer release of these interface protection was created with the dongle gear patents, especially the EP 2087-407B1 is widely used in many lawsuits. In total, the patent has 56 claims, but the most important are the independent claims 125 and 29. Furthermore, this patent is important for new build and remake cartridges, and it is registered in many countries. So there is no way to hide, nowhere. The invention of this patent is simple. It's more or less the use of the well-known carbon joint idea, which is implemented as a driving force coupling of an OPC drum within a toner cartridge. If the patent is in the patent it's described that the coupling element, so the dongle, has two different inclination angles in regard to the OPC drum axis. Claim 1 protects the whole drum unit, including the coupling element and the OPC drum. From Canon's perspective, this idea has the advantage to protect not only the basic element of the invention, but also the part which is very often replaced during remanufacturing because it's worn, the OPC drum. This makes more troubles to the aftermarket industry. In other claims of the patents, also the cartridge using such a dongle coupling is protected as well as the complete grip. Furthermore, the force receiving member, the flange, positioned in between the dongle and the drum is protected. If now a remanufacturer tries to prevent infringement of this patent, and that's a real good idea, he has the following opportunities. Use a new build compatible OPC drum unit with identical construction. It's not a good idea. Produce a remake cartridge without replacement of the OPC drum unit at all. From patent point of view, a good idea, but not for product quality. Produce a compatible OPC drum unit having a patent-free coupling design that works, that is used by Print-Rite and other companies. Or the first opportunity, replace the drum, but reuse the coupling and eventually the gear, flange. And here the clearing is not so obvious. Therefore, let's concentrate on the last possibility, the reuse of the gear and or the coupling. Many details have to be evaluated. First of all, you as a remanufacturer have to show evidence that the patent exhaustion took place. So you have to prove that all the dongles and flanges which you use to remanufacture the drum unit, not the cartridge, the drum unit, were first sold in EEA countries. So if you like to sell in EU countries, the patent exhaustion has to take place in EEA countries. If you are able to prove this fact, the next question is whether it is a permissible repair or a reconstruction to replace the drum of such a drum unit. And this creates a problem because the drum unit is only sold as part of the cartridge and there's no market for OPC drum units. Therefore, who is the average consumer? What is the opinion of the public concerned? Furthermore, the average consumer discards at least 30% of the empty cartridges, and a relevant part of empty cartridges are returned for free to the OEM or for recycling. And this provokes the question, do the empty cartridges still have a value? Additionally, the value of the replaced OPC drum is about 70% of that of the complete OPC unit. And the question that arises is the identity of the OPC drum unit lost if the OPC is replaced. And another argument of the OEMs, the workload for the remanufacturing the drum unit is similar to the workload of remanufacturing a new OPC unit or manufacturing a new OPC unit. Can be is mandatory for technical function of the OPC unit. Are the technical effects of the invention reflected in the replaced parts? It is obvious. The whole matter is quite complicated. But let's assume we can prove that the patent exhaustion took place, and therefore we can start with the two-question test. We learned this should distinguish between permissible repair and impermissible reconstruction. So the first question is, according to the average consumer's expectations, replacement of a particular part a normal maintenance measure which does not cast doubt on the identity of the overall product. As shown in the earlier slide, this is not a simple question. German court discussed the question in 3 instances, and finally the Federal Court of Justice had to decide, and the 2 instances below had a different opinion. So the decision was that the protected product is the OPC drum unit and not the whole cartridge. The OPC drum unit is not sold independently, so only in combination with the cartridge, which results in the fact that there is no average consumer's expectation. Furthermore, it is not necessary to search for a fictitious consumer opinion, and as it was done by the lower instance court. But it is important to weigh the patent owner's interest against the commercial interest of the consumer. So consequence of these facts is that there is no answer for the first question, and therefore we can go forward to the second question. Okay, this means we have to skip the first question, therefore let's go to the second question. Are the effects of the invention reflected in the replaced parts? And also this question was discussed over 3 instances, and the Federal Court of Justice finally decided the following. Only the dongle reflects the technical invention or function of the invention. The flange and the OPC drum are connected with the dongle and benefit from the dongle design, but there is no functional relation between the dongle and the technical and other parts. The flange and the OPC drum are state-of-the-art and not relevant for the technical effects of the invention. The replacement of the OPC drum unit and the flange is no reconstruction of the OPC drum unit and can be seen as repair. Now everything is clear. You were able to show that the drum units you used for remanufacturing were first sold in the EU countries, and furthermore, you survived the 3 instances till the Supreme Court and were able to invest a huge amount of money in court and lawyer costs. And then the Supreme Court decided, according to your opinion, that you had from early beginning obviously, but by the way, the explanation of the final judgment might have been a bit different from what you expected, but it makes a difference. Your reman cartridge used a new drum, and the OEM dongle is no impermissible reconstruction. So after 5 years you might still have some loyal customers for these products. But now you might ask yourself whether this decision is a clearance for all reman cartridge products. You will realize soon that this is not the case. It was only for a very specific constellation. It helps the reman industry because it makes more clear how to handle cases if the part in question is not publicly sold. Yes. But many companies failed on the way or made a settlement because it was too expensive to go to the whole way. Therefore, it was the Supreme Court decision that helps our industry, but in the next case, with a slightly different case, you have to evaluate everything again. So let's summarize this important part. The hard copy market is highly competitive. Therefore, IP is always a challenge, independent whether reman or new build products are sold. Legal questions for reman cartridges are even more difficult and complicated than for new build cartridges. Nevertheless, patent exhaustion is the basis of the remanufacturing industry. And very often, the reversal of evidence, which means that the remanufacturer has the burden to prove the patent exhaustion, will be in place. The decision between permissible repair and impermissible reconstruction is very difficult. So in the hard copy business, you need experience and reliable partners. The OEMs also learn from these cases, therefore they changed their attitude and adjusted their policy. In the past, manufacturers of the cartridges were the focus. Today, more and more dealers are involved in the cases. In the past, the OEMs were polite, they sent warning letters. Today, very often there's a direct action. In the past, most of the cases were real infringement lawsuits, but today the OEMs often use preliminary injunctions and withdrawal requests on Amazon. All this shows that the priority of the OEM is not the damage payments they get after several years of fight. It is the removal of the product from the market. And this is even more obvious if we study the mentioned latest approach of Canon. Canon found a more efficient way to reach this target. It uses withdrawal requests from Amazon. This was the most tricky foil for the presentation because it changed every day. So Canon still uses the same patent for all these requests, the EP2087-407B model. And the method works in many countries, in UK, Spain, Italy, US, Germany, and the products are still the same and still important for our industry. It's the CE505, CF280, the CE255 and CF226. But why did Canon change the policy? The answer is simple. It is more efficient for Canon, and it works. The products are withdrawn from the most important e-commerce platform without any dispute or time-consuming lawsuit. Furthermore, the way to make a lawsuit is still open. And it's interesting what Canon states as final remark in all these press releases. Filing a report infringement form with Amazon is a service offered by Amazon and does not comprise any official finding or validity or infringement of a patent. The decision to take down a product is in the discretion of Amazon and is based on information provided by Canon. Amazon informed the vendor about the takedown request and the vendor may object to it. So feel free to make an objection. No, it's better to prevent trouble. And I hope all these words made one point very clear to you. If you are in the hard copy industry, you need very good lawyers. But it's better to prevent problems by working with a competent, reliable and honest partners. And these partners should be experienced in the specialities of the IP in the hard copy business. And they should do freedom to operate analysis for their products. It should be their policy to offer safe products only. But this is not sufficient. They should not leave you alone if you are in trouble. So audit your partners and make a wise decision. Select Print-Rite as your reliable partner. But you might ask why. Let me explain in more detail. So now I'd like to show you why Print-Rite does, what Print-Rite does in order to be your reliable partner. It is not necessary to introduce Print-Rite. Everybody in our industry knows the company very well. And IP is a basic part of Print-Rite's company mission. Print-Rite respects the intellectual property of other companies. Therefore, Print-Rite uses its R&D power in order to design innovative solutions which do not infringe the OEM's IP. And this creates safety for our customers and saves investments for legal problems in redesign. It is always better to invest in innovative products which are safe for our customers than to invest in litigation later. Print-Rite has close to 40 years experience in the aftermarket industry and is therefore very experienced in all IP questions. And this expertise is used to clear all products in regard to the actual patent situation before products are launched to the market. Furthermore, the R&D strength of Print-Rite is visible in a number of own patents. Print-Rite has more own patents than any other aftermarket company in our industry. And not only the number is important, also the quality of the invention. Print-Rite offers both safe, compatible, new build and remade products in order to be able to satisfy all customer demands. For remade products, regional patent exhaustion and repair doctrine is basic part of the production and logistic processes. This guarantees that in EU market only remade products made from European entities are sold. In summary, we can say Print-Rite does everything to be a reliable business partner for its customers. The customers should be able to make business without worrying about the patent situation. And helpful is also that Print-Rite has a high vertical integration. Print-Rite R&D has the full in-house control of the toner cartridge. This is very helpful in order to evaluate patents, because for the main parts of the cartridge, Print-Rite has the full product knowledge and is not dependent on the information delivered from suppliers. Let me give you a quick impression about the innovative design solution of Print-Rite. Print-Rite used its R&D strengths to develop IP-safe solutions of high quality and functionality. Here's a Print-Rite circumvention of the twisted ear patent is shown. Another example is the circumvention of the dongle gear patent. The key element of Canon's patents, the different inclination angles, are prevented. The Print-Rite coupling only has a linear movement without any inclination. Even without inclination of the dongle, the Print-Rite 2 coupling mechanism offers a smooth handling and continuous function of the cartridge. And this foil illustrates the innovative design and functionality of the Print-Rite 2 solution in comparison with the OEM. You can see Print-Rite 2 has a pure axial movement and therefore prevents the key element of the EP 28407 patent. Of course, also this innovative solution is protected with many patents. This slide only shows the European application, but additional patents protect this R&D result in other regions of the world. And one of these patents was granted a week ago. So we do not say that this is the reason we are not infringing. The reason is innovative R&D work. But during the examination process of an own patent application, you learn a lot about the patent situation regarding this coupling element, which helps you to improve your own solution. So many competitors react only if there's a lawsuit. Print-Rite respects all IPR, not only the patents in focus of the actual cases, because Canon and other OEMs protected all edges and corners of their products by own patents. To make a redesign around one of these patents does not make a fully clear cartridge, because there are many patents regarding other aspects of the cartridges. For example, another interface which gives the OEM the opportunity to write patents is the electrical interface. Also, there are many patents which have to be taken into account. Therefore, also for this functionality, a safe design has to be developed. You might ask, might think it's only a problem of new build cartridges, but this is not true. For example, Samsung patented the chip location. Therefore, Print-Rite had to find an alternative solution in order to circumvent these patents as well. And this is not only relevant for new build cartridges, as we have seen before. Therefore, the Print-Rite circumvention is good for both categories, new build and revamp products. Also, very simple parts of a cartridge have to be included in the clearing procedure. As an example, you can see the circumvention of the drum shutter patent. Or here is the circumvention of the handling patents for Samsung cartridges. Sometimes the redesign has to be done in steps since the OEM is very aggressive and creates new hurdles. In the end, the new hurdle might not be successful for the OEM, but Print-Rite decided to design an innovative alternative solution in order to give safety to the customers. The quality of the redesign became clear when the OEM formally accepted the Print-Rite solution as not infringing. This is the best clearing you can get. I hope I was successful to explain that in the hardcopy industry, an honest and reliable manufacturing partner is relevant for all these topics. Furthermore, you have seen that Print-Rite and the distribution partner ERP solution is experienced in all these relevant topics. So let us be your partner for all types of the hardcopy industry. As always, a necessary disclaimer, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Joachim.